It's the end of the year, which means I'm talking about my favorite gear of 2021. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dustin Hall, your average, everyday ultra runner. I'm looking forward to sharing with you my favorite gear that I've used in 2021. From shirts, shorts, technology, vest, shoes, you name it, I'm going to go over my favorite things. So let's get into it. First up, I want to talk about a couple things that I always keep in my running bag or drop bag. And the first one of those is kind of dual purpose. It's the Sea to Summit dry bags. They come in multiple sizes. I've got them ranging from, I think, 3 liters, 5 liters, all the way up to 20, using that one as a drop bag. I always keep a couple of these around, especially in the smaller sizes, because if it's going to be rough conditions, they're so easy to stick in anything valuable, your cell phone, extra dry socks, whatever it might be. Roll it up and stick it in the bag, and you know that they're going to be safe and dry. And by the way, they're also kind of cheap, so I love these, always have them around. The second thing that I always have with me is my Orange Mud towel. I've used this in so many different scenarios. In the race bag, you can use it to dry yourself off. You can use it to clean your feet if it's been muddy and you're changing out socks and shoes. It goes well in the car as it zips up, and it's actually made to do this, but go over your seat. That way you're not getting all of that rank running stank all over your car and leaving it smell horrible. Also, there's a really nice feature, and I'm not going to fully demonstrate this one for you, and you can thank me for that later. But they use this nice system so that you can make it into a belt to go around you, around your waist. That way, if we're in the parking lot in the middle of the race and you need to change and you don't want all of your bits and pieces and private parts just hanging out there for everyone, that you can have a little bit of privacy. I recommend this to every runner that I come across. And if you haven't checked it out, check out the link in the description. You might just find it in your bag for next year as well. And the third thing I always keep in that running bag, this year I found myself really liking this Fenix HM65 RT. It's lightweight, it's comfortable, has a nice BOA system to adjust, and it is super bright. So the trails makes it look like daylight, or if you can't find something under the seat of your car, like me, because you dropped your cell phone, it comes in handy to have in that bag. Let's talk about some of my favorite running apparel for this year. And first up is the Rabbit Easy Tee. If you've never experienced rabbit running, you're in for a treat with what you get. This Easy Tee is super lightweight, extremely soft. It makes my wife want to cuddle with me more when I do wear it, provided I haven't just ran. It's breathable. I use it hot, cold conditions. I just love it. So what do I pair my favorite running shirt with? My favorite shorts by Path Project, the Skies PX. I've got these both in their 5 and 7 inch. I love them. They're lightweight, they dry fast, they don't retain odor, and there's a ton of storage in these things with the 3 pockets across the back. I've put my cell phone in there and I think like 4 gels and my keys. No problem. Didn't have bounce, didn't have chafing. Just amazing. And they seem to be super durable so far, as I'm not seeing any signs of wear and tear other than a couple pinholes from some races. And because these have no liner in them, I've found what I think is the ultimate base liner to go with them. That's another Path Projects piece of apparel, their base liner, the Tahoe CLs. They're not super compression, they just fit nicely, but they're breathable, they don't ride up. I love them so much, I actually bought 4 pairs of them just to make sure that if something happened, I would have another pair to go to, because they're often out of stock. And I don't want to wait around to go for a run because I don't have such an important piece of clothing. And then I pair them with what's been my favorite sock of the year. And I say it's my favorite because it always puts a smile on my face when I wear these. They're not the most padded, they're not the most blister resistance, they're all around good sock by Stance, but that's their Forrest Gumps. I've went to go for my run many a times, just had that attitude of today's just not my day, do I want to do this? I put them on, I Forrest Gump up, and I go for a good run. You always have to have something that puts a little bit of a smile on your face, or at least be able to reach for something that does, because when you put in long miles, it gets hard to stay motivated. Now I want to talk about three things that I always do keep handy. May not have them for every run, but I think that they've been game changers for me this year. The first, we're talking about arm sleeves. And I don't have a particular brand here that I want to recommend, but prior to this year, I didn't run in arm sleeves, and I didn't know what I was missing out. They've been game changers for how I look at weather at this point. Early morning, I don't look for a second layer nearly as often, so a long sleeve shirt or a jacket, because I can throw these on, and as I know as it gets warmer, they can come off, be bundled up, go in a back pocket really easy, a waist belt or a pack, or simply, and I've done this in several races now, I just roll them down and use them as a wristband. I might roll them up, stick some ice in them. If it's super sunny, you put water on them, you get that cooling evaporation feeling, you can stuff ice in them. But as that weather changes, you can easily go back from the wristband and just shove it right back on, and you have what you need. They've been great for me this year. Can't believe I didn't have them before now. Let's talk about headbands. Another big change for me this year is I've left the hat at home a lot. I find that typically it's harder for my body to regulate temperature unless I'm soaking it in water in the hot days, where the headband lets the body breathe more freely. And the ones that I've been using by Halo, and I highly recommend these, have a nice rubber piece inside that goes right across the brow for you that helps as that sweat's coming down to move it away from the eyes and down. So even if you still want that hat, you can wear something like this underneath to get that additional benefit, because I've done it. The last thing, apparel-wise, that I always keep close is good wet weather items. And this year, they weren't cheap, but I picked up the Compress Sport Hurricane, top and bottom. And I have to say, they are super lightweight, they're super breathable, and easy to pack. While most of my runs, I know that I'm not going to be reaching for them, which is a good thing. I like the confidence knowing that if I wake up in the morning or I drive to the trail and that storm pops up, I'm going to have them with me. They compress down really small. Each one of them probably weighs as much as the arm sleeves. They're incredibly light. They're worth the few extra dollars to have. And if you're into bigger, longer trail races, especially with mandatory kit, ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. So something light is great to have. Next, let's talk about storage. And there's three things I want to talk about that I really used a lot this year. A handheld, a waist pack, and my normal vest running pack. The handheld, super simple. I use this for a lot of my, I'll say, mid-distance runs on hotter days. This is the Nathan Speedmax. It's 22 ounces, super comfortable fit on the hand. Can hold a couple gels in there. I think I've even squeezed my cell phone without a case in there if I had to have it. And it's insulated. Now, that doesn't mean that your water's going to stay cold. I wish it did. But it also doesn't let it get super hot as well. I ran Burning River with just handhelds this year. So 50 miles, and I just used one handheld. It was enough to get me from aid station to aid station. Now, when I'm looking for a little bit more on my runs, so I'd say a lot of those mid-distance to a little bit longer runs, up to probably marathon distance, I like to get naked. And I'm talking about the naked running belt here. Just simple, breathable mesh, plenty of room. I've packed this down with a water flask, a GoPro, a jacket, gels, cell phones. Even can put my trekking poles on there if I wanted to. Haven't done that, haven't felt the need. But with it fully loaded down, I never had chafing. I didn't have bouncing. No hot spots with it. It was just all around good. And I use this quite often. I do, when just that handheld and shorts aren't enough. In fact, I'm looking at some 50Ks this year. So this will probably be what I go to for those races. The last storage thing I want to talk about is the race vest. Now, I own a couple. I have the Salomon Advanced Skin 12, which I could take for backpacking for weeks across Europe and have everything I need in it. However, unless a race really says I need that type of storage, I don't find myself reaching for it. I believe I need the right tool for the right job. And that tool for most of this year for me has been my old school Salomon Advanced Skin 3 5-pack. I've had this for a few years. It still fits great. It's still holding up and durable. I'm getting my money's worth. I can put 2 soft flasks in it, my gels, my phone, wet weather gear, headlamp if needed, and be able to go out there for 50K, 50 miles, or more and hit my aid stations without a problem. Could even throw a water bladder in there if I really felt that I needed to. But I recommend having the right vest for the right reason. There's no reason to have overkill like the Advanced 12 skin if you're not going to use it all, because that's just going to tempt you to pack more and more gear and weigh down your run. All right, let's talk about the shoes. And as runners, we all tend to talk about shoes other than maybe Barefoot Ted or some of those people out there. But I have 3 that I want to talk about today. My favorite road shoe, my favorite trail shoe, and the most innovative shoe of 2021. Shoe number 1, my favorite road shoe, the New Balance Rebel V2. I've absolutely loved this shoe to the point I thought about buying another one already. Might wait till they go on sale or see what next year's looks like, but midsole compound is just soft underfoot. There's a good energy return. The shoe feels fast. I love the collaring. There's just so many things, and I talk about them all in my review video of it. And for me, hands down, favorite shoe. Favorite trail shoe. And this one was tough. As this year, I've worn some great Salomons. I've worn some Hokas. I've worn a couple different Ultras. I've worn a lot of different shoes this year. But the number one shoe, when I think about what I want to wear on my normal trail run, that might be a commute from here across the roads to the trail. I wore them going up Lone Peak in Utah. I've used them for a lot of different reasons, and the shoe that I liked the most this year was the Topo Mountain Razor 2. Solid grip on it, the right amount of cushion for some longer runs up to 20, 30 miles. I didn't have any heel problems other than being dirty. Really no wear and tear, degradation, or breakdown. I've just loved this shoe, and I think Topo is going to be a major contender going forward, especially for runners like myself that need just a slightly wider toe box that narrower Hokas and Salomons don't work for, but the Ultras seem a little too wide. I know this is going to fill that space perfectly. Then, most innovative shoe of the year. We're talking about Speedland, the SL PDX. Removable carbon fiber plate, dual BOA system, customizable lugs, you name it. This was the luxury Cadillac most innovative shoe of the year that I found, and I enjoyed running in it. But It wasn't my favorite. The thing that I do know, though, is what they've done in this shoe is already changing the trail running community and what's being produced. Hoka has a flexible carbon plate so that your foot can move with the trail coming out next year. Altra has a shoe that's going to have the dual BOA system coming out. What they've done here is going to be a game changer. Hopefully that they can continue to advance their dream and bring it back down to a reasonable price range. But I love what they did, and I'm glad that they did it. All right, so last category, technology. And I've only got two things here for you. In the first is the Insta360 ONE X2, a 360-degree action camera. I got this early in the year. I've used it for running, I've used it for personal, and I just love being able in post to change the direction of what's being shown. Unlike my GoPro, where if I wanted to film myself in selfie mode, I had to point it to me. If I wanted to go back and get the trail, I had to flip it around. Where here, I can just do that in post. I can say, let's look that way, let's look that way. Hey, bring it back to this ugly mug. It's all around great. It's durable, no battery life issues. I've loved it. Only regret, didn't get the Mini also. If anyone wants to really help me out and send that my way, I would appreciate it. The last thing is a massage gun. And I'm not recommending any particular brand out there. I know that they go from like $50 up to $700. I'll list the particular one that I have. But this for me this year has been great in terms of recovery. After a run, to be able to really massage out knots, tension, back, IT band, calves. Even when I was having a foot problem in my arch, my chiropractor told me to use it on it. It is that versatile. And for $100 or so, $200, it's going to be able to help you get a lot more injury-free, pain-free miles. To me, this might be my number one thing that I got for running this year, if I had to rank them all in order. So that's all I've got at this point. I'm going to say thank you for watching. If you haven't, hit the like button and subscribe. It would mean the world to me if you did. Love seeing the channel grow, knowing that I'm helping you or giving you valuable insight to your running. Until next time, remember, you just got to lace up and run.